What's up, everybody? It's Magic with RaceNews.com, back for another edition of Dr. Miranda Previews. With me, as always, is my co-host, Dr. Miranda. Happy opening day of Saratoga and soon-to-be opening day of Del Mar to you.
I know. I'm super excited. I actually get to go to Saratoga for Traverse Weekend this year, which is awesome. We got the hotel. It's kind of like on the backstretch of Saratoga. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but I'm really excited. So like 10 rooms, and when you walk out, like all the stables are right there. So I'm super excited. It's only like, what, a month and a half away. So by that point, I'll be like 5.5 months pregnant. So hopefully the weather is good, everything's good, but I'm super excited.
Well, and you'll be that much closer to the track, so you don't have to walk as far. That'll be something that you'll definitely appreciate at that point. You mentioned the Traverse. You're going to be at Saratoga for Traverse Week, and the Traverse, of course, is the Midsummer Derby, the biggest event of the summer for 3-year-olds. Right behind it, really, right now, is the Haskell. It's a Grade 1 $1 million race with the Breeders' Cup winner in berth for the Classic. And this is the race that you're going to be looking at today. Walk us through the field at Monmouth Park for the Haskell, where you've got a 6-5 favoritism on Hot Rod Charlie.
Yep, so we're just going to get right into it today, starting off with the number 1 horse, Following C, for trainer Todd Pletcher. He is a newbie coming into this race with only 3 lifetime starts, and his first start was just in March of this year. He didn't get his first start until he was 3 years old. He has raced at 3 different tracks, and he has won 2 out of his 3 starts. But both of them were coming from sprinting at 6 furlongs and 6.5 furlongs. And he is bred very well. Both with the dam and the sire were both dominant in sprinting. But something to note is that Run Happy finished off the board in each of his tries trying to route. He has the early speed to compete with these graded stakes winners. I mean, he got a 97 and then 100 last time out, and that's great for him, especially this early in his career. It's going to be tough for him trying to route, though, I think, especially with the pressure with another contender who has a lot of early speed like Hot Rod and Midnight Bourbon. But I think that this horse is just a little bit faster than them. The big question is, can he last? And if he can, he's going to have to keep a distance between him and the rest of the horses. And if he can do that, I think this horse is very dangerous in this field. And the number 2 horse is Anti-Gravity for Jerry Hollendorfer. Now, I'm just going to go right and say it. I do not think that this horse has any chance in hell to win this race. I mean, it took him 10 tries just to break his maiden. And not to mention, his Beyer's speed figures are nowhere near the rest of this field. But a positive thing to say about him is that he has won his last 2 races, both at Monmouth. So he is used to the non-whip rule, but I just don't see it happening here. Then we go to the number 3 with Mandaloon with Brad Cox and Flo. He was second runner-up in the Kentucky Derby behind Medina Spirit. This horse honestly broke my heart that day, and I don't know why I keep putting faith into Brad and Flo. They keep doing this to me. I had like a $100 win bet on him, and he just couldn't pass the other horse in the stretch. In my opinion, watching that race back in person, he had no excuse not to pass Medina Spirit. And he was just going and going and just kind of was complacent with getting second place. He then went on to win the Pegasus and held off Wayburn in the end. He's a very talented horse, but he's very inconsistent. One race he'll run a monster, and then the next it's like he's running okay. So he ran a 101 2 starts back. So does that mean he's going to pop again for a big race? He's going to have a lot of speed to his inside and right next to him with good old Chuck next to him. So Flo is going to have to put him in a place where he's not too far back so he can close. Then we're going to go to the Belmont runner-up. That's with Hot Rod Charlie. This horse, in my opinion, was the best horse at Belmont, even though he didn't win the race. He set the fast fractions at 1 1/8 and still had enough in him at the end to only lose within a length of Essential Quality. This horse ran his eyeballs out, and he deserves a lot of respect. He clocked a 108 that day, and before that, he got 100 in the Kentucky Derby behind Mandaloon. Every single time that he races, his speed figures just keep rising. There's not one race there where they fall at all. He's very versatile. He doesn't have to have the lead. He can stick behind and stalk. And with the blinkers on, I think that's only going to help him more. I'm sure that he's Magic's top pick because we have Flavian Prop flying out to the Jersey Shore just for him. And then we're going to go to the number 5. That's Picking Time for Kelly Breen. This is another horse on paper who I just don't think belongs in this field. He took some time off and came back in May in the Jersey Derby, which is an ungraded stakes, and got last place. His best race was the grade 3 Nishuo, and even in that race, his speed rating was only an 82. The rest of his races, he's pretty consistent with only 60 buyers, and that's just not good enough for this field. He has been working out pretty well, but I just don't think it's enough. And then we go to the number 6, which is another familiar face with a Preakness runner-up with Midnight Bourbon. He has been unraced in 2 months, which I necessarily don't love. He couldn't hold off Rombar in the stretch, but he did have a respectable Preakness run. Something that I do not like with him, though, is that he doesn't have a good track record with trying to close with a fast pace. With Following Seed, Hot Rod, and Mandaloon, he's going to have to stay near the front of the pack, and that's going to be tough, especially when you know Hot Rod and Mandaloon are going to be coming for each other in this race. I think that he's going to have to run the race of his life to try to take this field. And then lastly is a number 7 Basso for Greg Sacco. Another head scratcher why he's even in this race. His only win was his maiden at Monmouth almost a year ago. Since then, he's not been as good. He's been at Laurel and Monmouth, which don't necessarily produce the best horses. His only race in 2021, he finished 6th place with a 60 buyer. It's just a hard pass for me. So with my top pick, yes, it's going to be chalk, but I cannot look past how good Hot Rod Charlie has become. I think at this point, he's just being unstoppable. Unless he lets that number 1 horse get too far out, I don't see why he can't win this race. Now, to try to get some money underneath, though, I'm going to play a $10 exacta box with Hot Rod and the number 1 Following Sea. In the case that Following Sea is a new shooter and wins, he's going to be a price, and so we can try to see what we can do. And then underneath the trifecta, we're going to go with a $2 try box with Hot Rod, Following Sea, and Mandaloon. I think it's going to end up being them 3 in the top 3. If you put Midnight Bourbon in there, you're just not going to get anything in return. And I think that Midnight Bourbon is actually the weakest of these 3 heavy hitters.
Well, as the card-carrying member of the Flavian Pratt fan club, I truly do appreciate you picking Hot Rod Charlie on top. I agree with you. You know who else agrees with you? Aaron Halterman, the Racing Dudes. You can go to racingdudes.com, check out the free in-depth preview of the Haskell Stakes. That's available at racingdudes.com. Also, the inside track to the Haskell Stakes wagering guide is available now for sale. Go to racingdudes.com, click on the handicapping products page. Included with the Haskell Stakes wagering guide, we have 2 bonus stakes races from Saratoga opening day Saturday, including the Diana. So that's an exciting one. Dr. Miranda, let the folks know at home where they can follow you for all your tips and insight.
At Miranda Bungie.
We'll see everybody at the track. Until then, good luck.